Hello, this is another demo about the storage redesign. This time it's a bit, I've tightened up the actions and buttons and menus a bit, and also done something about unrecognized data. So, uh, as usual, we start on the overview, and let's concentrate on this row. This row represents a hard drive in this virtual machine, and it used to always show two rows, one for the drive thing itself and one for the content on it. But now it only shows one because there isn't any content on it yet. And so we don't need to show it. If we go to the drive itself, it has the usual information here, and then here in the content it says that the drive is not formatted. And you get these two options. You can format it as a file system, or you can create a partition table on it. And remember these actions. These two actions, they are also now here in this drop-down menu. Format as file system, create partition table. So you can do a lot of creation already here. Let's create a partition table on it. And this dialog is now not scary anymore because we are not destroying any data. It is not formatted at this point, so there's nothing to lose. So we just let the people do it. And let's use this one, create it. And here we are. Now there's the free space row, which represents all the free space on the drive. And there's no action here anymore. We can't do anything anymore with the drive. It's done now. All the action now here is in the free space, like create a partition. Let's make half of it extended for, don't need to mount it, just create it. And now we have two rows that belong to this drive, of course, one for the first partition. And we can create more, or we can now see what actions we have here. Now we have mount, of course, because we choose not to mount it during creation, but we also have shrink and grow here in this menu that didn't used to be there. And those are all non-destructive actions. Let's make it a little bit bigger, just for the fun of it. So, and yeah, that's what we could do. But note, there's no delete button here, or nothing that would destroy data. That is on purpose. On the overview or everywhere in these rows, you only get non-destructive options. If you want to actually remove your data, then you have to dig deeper, and we can now look at the drive, for example, what it has. Now it repeats these rows here, of course, and now it has a big erase button here, which is the dangerous operation. You can click it and it will tell you all kinds of warning signs now that used to be in the create partition dialog, but now erasing hopefully is much more clear what it does. Gives you a summary of all the teardown that happens, and you can choose to override everything with zeros. And yeah, we know there's no data here. Let's do this now. And we are back to where we were. We have these two options here. And they are also here. Yeah, that's the basic idea. What else is there? Yeah, deleting partitions. Of course, you also have to go and find that button, which hopefully is not so difficult. You can create them easily. But if you want to delete them, you have to go to the page with all the information about it, and there's here the delete button for the partition, and also the file system now has a format button if you want to overwrite everything that's in the file system with a new one. You can do that here. We could also maybe split formatting and erasing into two, so that formatting is never dangerous and you have to do an explicit erase operation if you want to put a new file system on this. Right now you would have to go here and find the no file system option, and then You have the override option here, and then you can press format to actually erase it. I think that would be clearer if this is a separate action, erase action here, and format. It will not actually appear here in the file system, but only erase, or maybe the erase is even part of the partition. Yeah. The difficulty is that with no file system, you can still encrypt it. So if we do that, for example, then you have an empty block device with encryption. And it's presented as unformatted data here. And now you can format it with the blue button. The dialog still shouts at you. Maybe we can also remove this in this case. And yeah, have to think about this a bit. How we get to the point where you have an empty block device with encryption that you can then use here to create a volume group, for example, on this thing. Yeah, but anyway, that's the idea. I don't think there's anything else to show. Lots of buttons have moved, but that's maybe not so interesting. Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.